Having sprung from nothing more than a journalistic invention, amongst sporting trophies, the Ashes is unique. A brand new Melbourne Cup is presented each year. The same thing goes in the AFL. Despite having won the World Cup 3 times previously, last year the Brazilians got their hands on the current trophy for the first time. Brazil got to keep the original World Cup after winning in 1970. Even other perpetual trophies like the FA Cup were created for the specific purpose of competition. The Ashes is different.
It was only ever a piece of fun. It was really never meant to go any further than it actually did. A bit of a joke between friends, keep as a personal memento, a memory of good times, and it just got out of hand in the end. It really did at the turn of the century.
The seed had been sown at the Kennington Oval on August the 29th, 1882, when Australia defeated an All-England 11 for the first time on English soil. But the resultant Ashes of English cricket obituary, contrary to common belief, didn't then and there prompt the creation of a trophy or symbol of the kind that now exists. What it did do, however, was fill one Englishman with special purpose. The Honourable Ivo Bligh would set sail for Australia with the intention of recovering the mythical Ashes. The tour was arranged on behalf of the Melbourne Cricket Club by its then president, the Honourable William Clark MLC. He, his family and their attendants were in England at the time of Australia's momentous victory at the Oval. A near tragic incident on the voyage back to Australia could have ended the evolving Ashes story then and there.
Clark's family and the team under Bligh sailed from England in a ship called the Peshawar together. And it was a very long voyage because when they were leaving Colombo, the Peshawar collided with a barque called the Glenroy. And the two ships were nearly sunk. It was a major collision. And they had to put back to Colombo for the Peshawar to be repaired. This meant that instead of the usual voyage, it was about double the length of an ordinary voyage, and the Clarks and the English cricket team were naturally thrown very much into contact with each other then. And as Bligh said himself when he arrived in Melbourne, that he already felt that he was under the guidance and control of Mr. Clark.
Given the shared danger of the voyage, it was only natural that the English team, the 8 amateurs in it at least, became regular guests at Rupert's Wood, William Clark's grand home at Sunbury.
They kept on revisiting Rupert's Wood as the tour progressed. And of course one of the attractions at Rupert's Wood was that Ivo Bligh, the English captain, had fallen in love with Florence Morphy, who was the attractive young music teacher at Rupert's Wood, and whom he eventually married.
On Christmas Eve 1882, with the first Test match still 6 days away, this Victorian story of adventure and romance became legend with the creation of the Ashes. On a sloping piece of land where Salesian College students now play lunchtime cricket, the 1882 English tourists played a friendly social match for a couple of hundred of the Clarks' family and friends.
It was a hot day, and the gentlemen, the English cricketers and the house guests and so forth, and probably my grandfather, they did the batting and the bowling and maybe the wicket keeping, but the fielding was done by the gardeners and the grooms and the other staff.
After the match, the English players and their hosts would have freshened up and dressed for dinner, and in the early evening taken their seats around the dining room table here at Rupert's Wood. At some stage through that afternoon and evening, no one is sure exactly when, the Ashes were burnt and presented to Ivo Bligh.
Looks like England have won the toss and they're going to take first knock. It will be very interesting in these conditions. It's a little bit damp perhaps with the ball, but fairly good for bowling. There's the Australian side. Familiar name as captain. Dean Jones, Jeff Thompson, Keith Stackpole. A mixture of very recent past and slightly more past. And one or two pretty good currents.
Yes, well, if England are going to bowl, let's see who'll be opening the attack for Australia. I suppose it'll be Jeff Thompson and Jeff Lawson, with Tony Dodemaide to back up, Sean Graff to bowl as well. Who else is in the attack? The England 11 captained by David Gower, who captained England in 2 Test series. Gower, Alan Lamb, Gladstone Small, Derek Randall, Dermot Reeve. Some strong batting, though I don't know that that's in batting order, with Gladstone Small up the top. Paul Allett, Mike Selvey, Pat Pocock, Jack Russell, David Bairstow, Alex Stewart and Mike Gadding. So there's some experience and talent at the tail of that 11. Vic Marks also in the lineup.
It's a misty, moisty morning in Sunbury. I know that England are batting. Were they sent in? I just missed who called correctly and what happened.
Oh, I think David Gower called correctly and decided that it was going to be a day to bat first. Perhaps the wet ball influencing him there. These 2 fellows will be in reasonably good form. Dermot Reeve, I first saw play. He's going to take guard. First saw play in Hong Kong about 15 years ago now. Actually tried to sign him for Somerset. There was this young fella playing in Hong Kong. He was raised there, and the first club was Kowloon there in Hong Kong, and he was a terrific young cricketer, but he ended up going to Sussex first and then moved on to Warwickshire, where he's now captain. And he's played a bit for England, and he's played a good deal of one-day cricket for England. He's a tremendous improviser.
And led Warwickshire to great success last season.
Yes, Brian Lara helped a little bit, I think, but they had a very good side, and Dermot Reeve is a most intrepid captain. He's a terrific player in one-day cricket, particularly in the last 5 or 6 overs with the ball or with the bat. He's influenced the outcome of any number of one-day games. Tomo setting his field. He probably wants 5 slips in a gully, but he hasn't quite got them at the moment. Here he comes.
Dermot Reeve to face. And a gentle full toss from Tomo. A bit of outswing for him. And Geoff Marsh in the gully. There's the field for the Australian opening bowler. 2 slips in the gully. And a bit of wobble there for Tomo, but not the sort of morning I think the older members of the team will appreciate. The muscles will take a while to warm up, I think.
And they'll take a while to loosen up as well, I think. After the match, they'll be stiff for about a week, I reckon, most of these blokes.
Keith Stackpole at first slip, Steve Rickson at second. Paul Sheehan, not in the covers, he's fielding at mid-off. And it's taken a lot to get Paul Sheehan back into creams as well. Now headmaster at Melbourne Grammar School. And the first runs for England. Dermot Reeve down to Geoff Lawson at fine leg. And taken well by Slug Jordan to his relief. Henry thought he'd gone a bit hard on him there, I think.
He'll want the throws pretty much over the stumps, Slug. He's not afraid of saying a couple of words to people if they get a bit astray with the returns.
Length a problem in the opening over for Jeff Thomson.
Yes, we won't know if the pitch is seaming around yet. Jeff hasn't really hit the seam yet.
Slipping down the leg side, the end of the first over. England 2 runs from it to Dermot Reeve. Well, these two looking pretty set now, so can Tony Dottermaid get the breakthrough for Alan Border?
Yeah, it's a good start. It's a good start by our team. You know, obviously Mike Gatton has been involved in the England team in the England camp, so he's had a good bat. That's one of the reasons he's opened the batting. He's one of the few guys in the team who's had a bat in his hand over a period of time. Even though Dermot's been in Australia, he hasn't had much chance to have much practice while he's been here. But it's been a good start. We have been worried about our batting lineup, but we've managed to get a few late minute adjustments to the team, and so hopefully we should be able to get a few runs on the board.
Oh, well done, Paul Sheehan. That bounced awkwardly, and he got down to it well. He's had a lot of work to do in that over. Keith Stackpole wired for sound. Paul, a bit of an ache or two, but
yeah, did well at the end, Peter, and that one went away from you. You called it correctly too, that it hit something and he got across nicely. But the worry for us is that Dermot Reeves now starting to middle the ball. And like I suppose, even a very good pitch out here, but it's like all batsmen, it takes you time to play yourself in and get to the pace of the ball, and you could tell on that over that Dermot was starting to pick up that pace nicely, and he's looking very much to get on the front foot.
Any evidence of swing for Tony Dodemade's first over?
No, not a great deal. No, not a great deal. Pretty straight and just straying onto the leg stump on a couple of occasions too. The umpires have done a great job so far, Peter, no question about the umpires. They're right on the job today.
Just one no ball called. Have they been generous in that regard?
Oh, yeah. But I don't, I just keep going past and keep saying what a good job you're doing today.
Oh, right, they were in earshot just then. Oh, OK, Keith, I see. You'll be batting later on. Now it's Graham Yallop, the first change at the other end, replacing Jeff Lawson. Left arm over. And that one's got through for 4. Jeff Marsh again getting a workout, Keith.
Yeah, actually.
That's Steve Rickson.
Steve Rickson there, Peter, yeah. Very similar. Marshy's put a little bit of weight on since he gave the game away there.
I think Steve is missing his wicket-keeping gloves.
Hit it pretty well then, Gats, right over the top of it, and just bounced it in front of him.
A tunnel to the fence.
Well, this is a worry. Could be getting an edge here. So give us a under one of your gloves, will you?
You ever taken a catch off Graham Yallop's bowling, Keith?
No, I don't think so. Actually, Ray Jordan wants to know, can he get one of these microphones pinned to him? He'd like to say a few words.
We'll be out of a job.
Actually, I think Wally's a bit fair income here.
Yes, he's coming in well. He's hitting the wicket.
Yeah, a little bit of pace there. Actually, it's a beautiful pitch. They must have put hours and hours of rolling into this because it's coming on nicely. The bounce is nice and steady, and you do justice to a one-day international wicket. This, I would think.
I think it will get better as well if the sun comes out and get a bit of sun on it as well. It will even be a better wicket then.
Thompson couldn't hold that one, so a single there for Mike Gatting.
I think it looks like that sort of wicket, Peter, that you don't bowl short on. Gives the batsman plenty of chance to get back on that back foot and virtually look where they're going to hit it.
So runs coming pretty easily for England at the moment.
Not too sure how much bowling Graham did in his test on first-class square.
Best bowling in a test was 1 for 21 against India in Madras in 79-80.
Well, that'd be the place you'd want to produce your best bowling figures, isn't it, in Madras?
No one else, obviously, in the heat was putting their hand up, so he took it upon himself to bowl. But in first-class cricket, got 4 for 63 against Essex at Chelmsford in 1981. Just remind him of that, Keith.
Must have been a wet wicket.
Dodemaide, his second over. Reeve,
great shot.
Majestic.
That's a fine shot. Giving himself a little bit of room and easing it through the covers. Great shot. Nice, good, nice high follow through. He's looking a good touch. He's looking a better touch than did all summer back home, Dermot.
Gave himself room there, and well, no danger over the field. .26 for Dermot Reeve so far. He's got under that one a little bit and put it over the fence. Well caught, sir.
This is fantastic batting by Dermot. I mean, considering he hasn't done much batting in the last few months,
Well, talking about Aussie rules, Alex Jezelenko in the crowd, one of the Carlton greats. He would have admired this catch on the boundary line. I don't know if back in 1882 any of the spectators on that day would have fielded as well as that.
Great shot. Just give himself a little bit of room towards the leg side and getting his arms free to play one of a shot down to the long off boundary.
Dermot Reeve, this is Peter G here with your county bowler Gladstone Small in commentary. You're seeing it like a football, it seems.
He can't hear you. He's taken all his stuff off.
Who's that? Mike, is it?
Yeah, that's me.
Michael, how are you? Mike
I'm
Gatting
all right,
at the
mate.
non-striker's head.
Yeah, he's seen it well. He's done
He's got it over.
That's unreal, that is. Dermot hitting 3 balls in over on the offside.
But have you
I've
noticed?
never seen that before.
But have you noticed he's still nicking the strike? He's still very good at doing that, isn't he?
14 off the over so far.
This will be a single get. It's the last ball of the over.
Is that right? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Get any blocks.
Oh, he was looking for it.
Yes, yeah.
Perhaps there's one more to go, probably.
What's the wicket playing like, Gat?
Yeah, it's a good wicket. Good wicket, a bit slow, but it looks pretty good. The odd one's
The
done a bit.
other ones just seem to have held a bit and just bounced a tad.
It's a very good wicket, considering they didn't have one here not so long ago.
Yes, they've done wonderfully well.
Mike getting there on 16. 38 for Dermot Reeve. 14 in boundaries in this over, plus 2. And he's not finished yet. There's another 4.
Magnificent playing.
And Tony Dottermaid coming in for some stick. Mike,
Shot master, very good, very good. Huh? It's always the same. It's like
Mike Getting, obviously you better take off your microphone too. This is the get rid of some
get rid of some heavy
baggage.
gear, you reckon?
Yeah.
I think what I'll do is get one and give Dermot the strike. What do you reckon?
Nah, he's scoring too quickly.
He's scoring too quickly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a slow start, you know. And I think Tony, they're all doing really well at the moment.
He's only going to get the Aussie batsman. He's angry when we have to ball Gat. Tell
Well,
him to slow down.
I don't mind that.
Play and miss at a few. Give him a false sense of security, Gat.
Hey, I've done that all summer, mate. I don't want to keep doing it.
Have you faced Graham Yallop before, Mike?
No, tell you, hits the deck, he's all right.
Yeah, and you hit him for 4.
Must be that time of day, mustn't it? He's just dropping a little bit short, Graham.
I think you were waiting for that one a bit.
You reckon?
Just sat back on the back foot there a bit, waiting for it.
Don't know where the next one's going to be.
Slower ball, I reckon.
You reckon?
There for the slower ball.
Oh, you're right, Stoney. Didn't bounce very much, though. Because you bowlers are very devious, you know.
We've got to try and stay one step ahead of you, batsman.
Yeah. Different grip, that was. You're right, he had a different grip. Oh, my goodness me.
Where's Slug caught that one? What's he doing? What's Slug doing?
Do you get a bit low there, Slug?
Did that hit anything on its way through, Mike?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, just got it over cover. My goodness.
I think you boys have switched to shot playing mode, haven't you?
Oh,
Oh, they've arrived.
And the sun's starting to come out too.
Yeah. My goodness.
It's not the last 20 overs yet, you know, Gat.
And we've got a few batters to get in, haven't we?
Well, true, yeah. The boys have got itchy feet back here, actually.
Run Dermot out or something.
Oh, where's that gone?
Well, I think the Barmy Army have arrived, have they, Michael? They're enjoying what they're seeing here.
Well, they're saying something. They're saying the English batsmen scoring a few runs for a change, so which is quite good. They've waited all summer to see this.
Well. England none for 65 after 12 overs. And the news is obviously spread because the English supporters making their presence felt here. Is there any agreement about how many overs you should bat in this sort of match?
No. The boys. It's all up to the guys as to how they play it. Obviously, we're here to entertain. So once the guys have got the pace and the bounce of the wicket of Dermot and Mike have got at the moment, we're just been told to get up there and play a few shots and entertain.
That's what's happening.
That's a great shot.
Another boundary.
That's a fantastic shot. That wasn't actually a bad ball. I mean, the length was good. Mike just gave himself a little bit of room, kept his eyes firmly on the ball and eased it through the offside. Fine shot.
England racing to 71 in the 13th over. And there's Arkle.
Yes.
Derek Randall.
Great Arkle.
This one's safe. Another boundary. Well, a formidable total, it looks like, in prospect for England.
I told you this one-day cricket is a batsman's game. Poor bowlers, eh? Bowl a good ball, length ball on off stump, and you find a batsman back in the way to hit you back over your head. It's no justice.
Gladstone with the sun coming out, still a bit of moisture about, not bad conditions for bowling. Perhaps everything going in England's favour by the time you come in. It'll be nice and dry, the run-ups.
Yes, but I'm sure as the sun hits the wicket as well, that's probably going to make the wicket better, even better. I'm sure of that. The wicket will improve as the day goes on. So
it must be six.
We've got a lot more goods batting left to see today.
None for 76, and Alan Border keeping out of the action a little bit there in cover today. So he's seen it flying over his head or down the ground.
So he's back in his old favourite position at mid-wicket there in a one-day game. He was a great field in that position. I don't think he'll be too impressed with the start that the English batters have made here. He'll be looking to get a few wickets.
Yeah. He's middled that one too.
That was a fantastic shot.
Not a lot of margin for error there, but right off the meat.
Bisecting the field there.
You're going to have to get 120.
Well, we're both going, I think. Both got to go.
Great shot they get.
Thanks,
Enjoy that one.
Yeah.
No use fucking using them up.
Yeah, I don't want to use too many up. Who said that? Yeah, Jonesy reminded me of the game at Bendigo starts at 11, not 12 like last time. That's a big hit.
It's a big hit.
The crowd's got another one to catch here.
Oh, he dropped it.
Second six from Dermot.
Dermot's retired on that shot. He reckons he's not going to get much better than that, so he's had enough. Well played, very well played by Dermot. Great play.
Actually, David Gow just put a glass of champagne down as he's striding out the bat.
Got?
Huh?
Well, good cue, wasn't it?
Dermot Reeve setting the tenor of this match with a swashbuckling innings.
It's David Gower who's producing the bigger shots, and he seems to be finding the boundary almost at will. Every time he selects a ball to hit, it's going to the fence.
Yes, David Gower was a fairly unique player to bowl to most players, in fact all players. You always felt as though they were looking for a particular shot above others. but whenever I bowled to David, I always felt as though he absolutely 100% played every ball on its merit, didn't look for any particular shot. Even some of the greatest players, you knew they were always looking for a bit of a cut or a drive or a lap, but David really looked to play in 360 degrees.
The voice of Pat Pocock, who's joined us in the commentary box. And Alan Lamb tried to come down the wicket. Alan Border saw him coming. Pat, as an off-spinner, are you surprised by the way leg spin is getting all the headlines now?
Well, not so much surprised, because everybody's always known that that really, once somebody can spin it and land it, then they're going to be the most difficult type of bowler. The most a dangerous spinner I've ever seen before Shane Warne came along was Chandrasekhar, and I saw people on flat wickets struggle to defend against him on flat wickets if he got it all right, and when he got it right, then he bowled the ball very fast in a similar manner to Shane Warne. Perhaps he bowled it a little bit faster than Shane Warne did, but he was a very, very a dangerous player. And going back years ago, way before my time, and even Peter Roebuck's time, there was Doug Wright as well, who was again a real nightmare to bat against.
Because there were so many great English off-spinners in the last couple of decades, Fred Titmus, for one. Yeah. They just go on and on. David Allen.
Yeah, David Allen. Jim Laker, of course, he wasn't bad.
Sheehan hits the stumps.
Umpire's asked for the third umpire. He signalled for the box.
Oh, we're recreating an 1882 match here. I don't know about that. Not a bad throw from Paul Sheehan in the deep. And Gower helps himself to 4 more. Well, this is an avalanche of runs, and the Australians must be starting to squirm.
He's playing beautifully, David Gower, now. He just took a while to judge the line and length of the ball, but now he's got the hang of that. He's driving and cutting and using his feet, and very pleasant to watch.
But it looks like a full-size ground, but the frequency of the boundaries is making me start to wonder. It's looking smaller and smaller with every delivery. This won't go all the way. Jeff Thompson cuts it off.
Yes. Pat Pocock was saying he's going to widen the boundary a bit during the lunch break. He and Vic Marks are going to be out there pushing the boundaries back about another 15 yards.
Jeff Marsh signing autographs. And plenty of kids lining up for them. Lamb just strokes it back to end the Dean Jones over. As Border bowls to Gower, and he hits it high and handsome. And is it over or on the bounce? On the bounce, I believe, to take England to none for 158.
It's a pretty good wicket, isn't it? It'll obviously turn a lot for Pat Pocock later on, but it's a pretty good wicket. And congratulations to the ground staff. It's a beauty.
I think the most incredible thing is this is the first game that's ever been played on this wicket. Something you could never do in England.
And Gower had to wait for that one to arrive.
There's no way in England that you could put a wicket down and just half a dozen months later play a game where even Tom Over playing on this wicket and Jeff Lawson, if you tried to have bowlers like that pace on a fresh wicket like that, you just wouldn't be able to play.
Great shot.
And now it's Alan Lamb going over the top. All the way over the top.
Tremendous timing. He just tapped that with his wrists. Glorious shot from Alan Lamb. Effortless.
164 on the board without loss. high over the Hessian sight screen.
I think there's more Bollinger coming in, actually.
Yes, they've improved, haven't they, since they got that a little bit of champagne. They both seem to be playing very fluently now.
Alan Border just straying outside the leg stump. David Gower, who scored 3,269 runs against Australia at an average of 44.78. And right off the bottom of the bat, and it's carried all the way for 6 more. Well, this is a little more destructive than Damien Martin was last night.
Oh yes, that was an extraordinary exhibition from Damien at the MCG. That's first 15 to 16 overs. I think you saw them, Pat, of the Australian A's innings. It was just the most exciting cricket seen for ages.
Yeah, they didn't hang around, did they?
Until today, of course.
Until today, yes.
It's already
until
been
today.
surpassed.
Yes, it's slightly less pressurised circumstances, but some splendid stroke play from David Gower and Alan Lamb.
None for 170 now.
Just an average score for England against Australia, Warren. Good solid start for the boys.
Oh, we'll have to start reminding you about the real tests. I'll have to be satisfied with just a single. Looking at the record in test matches between Australia and England before the current series, Australia had won 108, England 89, and 83 were drawn. And of course Australia have added another couple to that tally. 283 tests now played between the two nations. Starting way back in 1876. A bouncer! And he couldn't get onto it.
Quite know what Steve Rickson thought of that.
What do you think of the action there then, Peter?
Oh, it's,
This is shorter and a casual swing straight down the ground, splitting the two men trying to close on it. 4 more to Lamb. None for 174.
Another good pitch to bowl on then, Pat. None for 174.
And he lays back. Wonderfully caught by Sheehan, but I think he was outside the rope, was he? It's 6. Well, that was beautifully taken. At 6 runs.
The Aussie rules boys would like that.
And I think we can speak to Keith Stackpole. Keith, we've got to do something about this.
No, we'll just keep it going the way that it's going. It's going nicely at the moment.
You think there's so many runs in the pitch that you can do just as well this afternoon?
The attack's looking a little thin, isn't it?
Well, I think it's gone again. Over the top of Tony Dottermaid this time.
There might be a lesson here, I think, for one-day cricket to bring the boundaries in a little bit. But some terrific hitting, and it's amazing just standing out here with a fellow like Alan Lamb, even at my age, how difficult it would be to place a field to him. Because at times he looks like he's going to hit square and then suddenly he hits you straight down the ground. That was a terrific little knock from Lammy.
None for 195 now, England. David Gower 43, Alex Stewart on 1. And for all the smashing towards the boundary, there's not too many red marks on that bat by David Gower's. Ooh. Still won't go all the way.
I don't think David's ever quite so good when he gets violent. He's such a lovely timer of the ball, but sometimes the harder you try and hit it, the less far it seems to go.
Jeff Lawson trying to make the break for Australia. Plenty of sportsmanship there. Jeff Lawson seems to be starting to feel the thighs. They were the thighs and the groin muscles were the ones that were aching for Jeff after his hit out last Saturday in club cricket in Sydney. England with 3 men retired in the pavilion, creeping towards the 200 mark. Well, creeping's probably not the word.
There'll be a big cheer amongst the crowd here when they get a wicket. The Australians, not used to waiting this long. Timed that well. Beautiful shot.
Lent on it, didn't he?
Oh, and a great effort to stop it there by Paul Sheahan. Didn't quite come off. I think he might have been signing a few autographs down there when that shot was played. Beautiful timing, that stroke.
Yeah, use the pace of the ball.
In fact, that was one of the things I was just talking with Jeff Lawson about last night, watching the one-day cricket as the 200 comes up for England. And the swing and a miss for David Gower. But the fact that in one-day cricket and these days in Test cricket, you see fieldsmen diving and sliding and scraping across the ground in desperation. Once upon a time, if you couldn't put your hand down and pick it up, you didn't bother.
And this sliding turn they do now, that's quite new the last 2 or 3 years.
Hooking it back.
Yes, the way they do that, it gets the ball in so quickly. Shots,
that's
great shot.
beautifully struck. What a shot from David Gower. 6 runs, and even Jeff Lawson can only applaud. And David will retire, and what a sweet innings it was for 54. And David Gower, you must have enjoyed that last shot as much as any out there.
Well, that was a good one to finish on, because it doesn't get any better than that, I promise you.
Chance for the catch, and it's taken by Ben Jones. Well, the first wicket earned by the Australians in this innings.
High fives from Stacky.
The Victorian combination, Stackpole and Jones. And dismissed is Derek Randall. He hit it well enough. Maybe didn't quite get hold of it as I thought.
No, it's just a little bit inside out, and very cleverly floated ball there from Keith Stackpole. That's the first wicket of the day, so someone had to be it.
I wonder what odds the bookmakers would have given for Stacky getting the first wicket of the day.
Well, it's the change that you've been calling for, Peter.
Yes, if he'd come on earlier, I think England would have been routed the way Stacky is going at the moment.
Well, if they're not going to the boundary or over the boundary, the crowd not too excited about it.
I think they've enjoyed the spectacle, though. It's been fine batting from the English. It's helped by the fact that it's a glorious batting wicket. So well done the curators and all those involved in its preparation, and well done the weather too. There you go.
I was always fully confident the sun would come out.
Well, a lot of prayers being said at the Salesian College here, and we wondered what was going on when it started off a bit cloudy and damp. But the Father John Packworth, the headmaster here, assured us it would be all right later on. He'd been very diligent in his services.
I was pointing out to him that the symbol for the Origin of the Ashes match is quite infernal, with the flames licking up around the stumps. But he assured me that the devil doesn't have all the good cricket. No, that's not the shot he's going to employ. I think he's keeping the flies at bay. Using the feet beautifully. David Bairstow on strike. Played a bit of football for Bradford City. And he's got under that. It's over the top. 11 sixes in this England innings.
Great shot from Bairstow. Didn't take long to acclimatise. Tremendous thump over the top. Very strong.
Great tribute to Keith Stackpole's bowling, that he's bowling the final overs. All the field back. And the foot didn't lift. Very quick piece of work from Steve Rickson. And, well, he very nearly overbalanced there, Chris Lewis. This will be a perfect view of it. The next ball he dispatches. Oh, brilliantly hauled in, not quite. Dean Jones in one hand. It would have been a 6 anyway, even if he'd held on to it, because he carried across the rope, but superb effort.
Well, Stacky could have had 5 for here if the fields hadn't been awake. He dropped some sitters like that, left, right and centre. There's tremendous striking by the English side. Total really is going to be very near 300, the way things are going. 1 for 294. Is this one over to go, is it?
We've got the 40th about to be bowled. David Bairstow to face up to Jeff Thomson. The slower one, which he manages to place between the field. And the likes of Graham Yallop, who fielded that, will already be thinking ahead to the job they've got in front of them with the bat. Can they keep England below 300?
Thompson just looking for the leg stump Yorker, just straying slightly.
Safely through. It's 6.
That's the 300 for England. And the 40th over. It's about the usual rate.
And only 1 wicket has fallen. 5 Englishmen have retired. Derek Randall, no doubt, copping a bit of stick in the dressing room already for being the one batsman to get out. Wow, this is a skyscraper. It's a George Bonner type hit. Brilliant effort in the field. Unfortunately, he's over the fence, that gentleman, and not playing for Australia. Consecutive 6s from Chris Lewis. George Bonner, the monstrous Australian, 6'6". Back in the 1880s, he played in the 1882-3 series. And Chris Lewis is emulating his hitting. Bonner, they say, once hit the ball so high in the air that they managed to run 3 before he was caught. Now, I refuse to believe it, but it's a great story.
He's going pretty well, Chris Lewis. That's a batsman's game, Tomo.
Yes, good delivery. The last, Any appeal there? No. That's the 40 overs. And they've got through their overs with 5 minutes to spare, the Australians. And now the real task for them begins. Not out on 36 was Chris Lewis. And the England total from their 40 overs, 313, just 1 wicket fell. Australia have a total of 314 for victory in 40 overs. Well, good luck, that's all I can say.
This morning started in very gloomy conditions, quite damp underfoot. But now it's developing into a beautiful summer's afternoon. So you would have gone for John Inverarity rather than Bobby Simpson as your replacement captain.
I think it'd have lasted longer and allowed, I think Bob Simpson wanted to last longer.
Marsh cracks it down to long on and takes 4 runs. Well, there do seem to be some wide open spaces here today. I don't know whether that's the agility of the fieldsman or a tribute to the batting.
Pretty good straight driving.
And he's done it again. He repeats the blow. This one's better. That's 6. Wonderfully well struck. Jeff Marsh takes 10 runs in 2 balls to put Australia on the front foot. After 10 overs, no wicket for 52. Both batsmen now on 25. And it just can show you memory can be deceiving. Australia have 52 on the board when England only had 38. Yallop thinks about the single, but Randall cuts it off. Yes, I could have sworn that England had more than 38 runs on the board after 10 overs, but not so according to our statistician, Mike Roberts. So the explosion must have come soon after.
They're very cunning, the Poms. They take the time at first.
But yes, they took 20 runs in the 11th over. So that's where it began.
Dermot Reeve, what a great bit of fielding by him. Kept them down to 2. It was a beautifully timed shot again by Graham Yallop. Expect Dermot Reeve will bowl later on. One-day cricket, he mixes up his deliveries a lot, varies his pace, all sorts of different types of slower balls, and very cunning sort of chap.
Australia making the perfect start here. Good runs on the board and no wickets lost.
Claremont Christopher Lewis bowling his 6th over. He was born in Guyana, I believe, and a friend of mine went to investigate his birthplace and came back with a great story about how Lewis was actually 2 years older than he was made out to be. 28 rather than 26, having checked the birth registry. Only to write his story, only to find out there were 2 Christopher Claremont Lewises born in that very Guyanan suburb. And he got the wrong one. Chris Lewis was the exact age he'd claimed to be. And I don't think that fellow got the Walkley Award that year for journalism.
Well timed once more.
Vic Marks in hot pursuit. Hat falls off.
And Marks restricts them to 3, is it? 3 runs. I don't know whether the ball was going to get to the line anyway.
Great timing. Vic Marks has been mainly on the golf course the last 2 or 3 years. Had a very, very good season for Western Australia some years ago. Played 25 one-day internationals for England and a certain amount of Test cricket. He got 50s in his last 2 Test innings.
Australia are well on the way to giving this 314 a shake. Zallett bowls to Marsh. Lewis in the covers. Paul Allett, now aged 38. A little bit younger than Mike Selvey, who at 46 is sending them down from the other end now. Jeff Marsh has hit it high and there's a player underneath it. No, it's gone over the top of him. I think it's Gladstone Small again. The ball seems to be following him. I thought for a moment he was going to get underneath it, and the way Jeff Marsh had taken one hand off the bat, I thought it had gone higher rather than longer.
They hit it plenty high, don't they, these Australians? Looked like a bit of a 9-iron, that one, but it kept going and going and going, and there was no way anyone except the spectator was going to catch it.
On the ground this time from Marsh. Well, the ball is following him, isn't it? He's going to be a tired boy tonight.
I'm not sure after all those lemonades it'd have clung onto that sky anyway. I think he was blowing it over.
Well, maybe Marsh and Yallop have realised that he tried the brew. They're picking him out. Paul Allott was a mainstay of Lancashire's new ball attack throughout the 1980s, taking 652 wickets in first-class cricket from 78 to 91. Pat Pocock has a quick word with Len King and wonders when his turn to bowl will come. And he's probably hoping that he's not bowling to Dean Jones and Alan Border.
Well, he'll be enjoying the day as much as everyone else, and not least because of the surroundings. That's the old house and the new school buildings on the front there, and it spans right the way around, the most beautiful countryside. It's, I guess it's pretty dry, but all those trees and the greenness really are... It's cricket at its best and it's countryside at its best. Mike Selvey now pitching the ball up a little bit more. He's part of the Cambridge Mafia and the old school tie that we've been hearing a bit about from certain people who seem to be under the impression that they run English cricket and to blame for everything.
Small uses the foot. None for 81 in the 15th over. And I think David Gower is with us. Yep. David, are you starting to worry yet?
Worry? Why should I worry?
There's 81 runs on the board and they haven't lost a wicket yet. Similar pattern to your innings.
What's the comparison with us at the same time?
I'll tell you. Oh, you're right. England had 104 runs on the board after 15 overs.
Well, it's just a little bit of a margin. Well, I don't want to worry. It's not a day for worrying. It's a nice day. Keep the crowd entertained, happy. Make it close, but win.
I think you're doing that so far. Oh, Marsh beautifully hit. That's 6. And well caught too.
I'll tell you what, there's been some terrific shots played today. And that's a marvellous cricket shot from Jeff Marsh. The timing of it just makes it look easy.
A lot of confidence about that shot from Marsh. Selvey comes in once more. Lovely throw back from Gladstone. He's getting a lot of... I see. The Australian crowd's trying to undermine his efforts. All along the ground from Graham Yallop.
Gladstone, just breaking in here. What are you doing talking to a member of the enemy? You're finding out how to take a wicket on this wicket.
At least he's taking a wicket. He's one of the few bowlers who's taken a wicket today, so I'm trying to learn his secret. I think it's those flirty ones wide of the off stump. You lull the batsman into a false insecurity, thinking this is a 4-ball, but it isn't quite there. So I'm learning. I'm trying to learn.
Great, doesn't it, Peter?
I think he's short-changing you. You told us you couldn't turn them. There was a few turned there.
I had to, yeah, the umpire was on my side. I think there could have been a few wides called out there. They was very kind.
And why are wickets so difficult to take out there?
Oh, beautiful strip, and it's a sort of day. Runs is the name of the game. We haven't seen many runs in the one day.
One day,
this year
that's
with
right.
the bat,
I mean, it's been surprising the low scores you get in the games over here. I mean, when I played a few one-day nationals over here, I remember scores being in the 260s, 270s. I think I've gone over 300 at one stage in Adelaide. It's a bit disappointing actually, because one-day cricket it's a batsman's game. I mean, and myself as a bowler, I mean, sometimes as you bowl, you think it's a good ball, and you get it for 4 and think, geez, that's a good shot, and you find yourself actually admiring the shot, and that's good. I don't mind that.
Yeah, well, I agree. But looking out there today, I don't think the fielding's quite up to the standard that we see in the one-day internationals either. A little bit of
look at the ages of the players stacking. I think that might tell the story.
There's another 6. I don't know if we've seen too many more 6s than this in a match.
Some tremendous hitting, hasn't there been? You know, even allowing for its rather small boundary and that, but there have been some terrific blows today, and just so well timed. Oh, this is a worry. Marshy's retired. That means I'm getting further up the batting order.
The thing is Dean Jones, are you going to force him to retire, or is he going to go on and get 3 figures?
No, I want to get in with Jonesy and make him run between the wickets. I want to call him for a quick single. I'd love to have him out. Oh, it'd be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Oh, Gladson, Keith can go and make 200 even when he does get run out.
I hope Jeff Boycott's not listening.
Well, the equation is Australia ahead of the required run weight by 5. 132 after 21 overs. England were 127. Pat Pocock, the off spinner, comes into the attack. And Border leans on him for 1. Gadding foxing out there. But Pat Pocock with us for quite a while in commentary this morning. And here he is with the ball in hand.
He looks foxy. He's going to need to be foxy. His first ball wasn't bad. Right in the length. Wily old spinner. Slightly greying nowadays. Had a very long career with Surrey and a sporadic career with England. 25 tests, I think it was, he was telling us as he was up here.
He showed me his spinning finger in particular, and it used to be virtually open the whole time. In his first-class career, had terrible trouble with blisters on the finger, but it looked smooth as the baby's bottom before, so should have no problem in his short spell at the crease today. And Gene Jones gets a full toss from him through Chris Lewis. He did well to take most of the pace off that. Around the wicket to Border, and that's through the covers. 2 here. Alan Lamb. Gladson Small made the dive for it.
It's about the first dive of the day. Unless he fell over, of course.
Well, Pat Pocock against Sussex in 1972. An amazing spell of bowling, which Warren detailed for you this morning. Border hits it in the air, but it's safe enough. Oh, casual. From one hand to the other, from Alan Lamb. Just 1 run for Border. He might have had to drop the pen before he went and fielded that. Some movement in the field. Gower motioning away on the onside. Might be having trouble getting the message through. He might have to do it himself. Going there to mid-wicket. Gladson Small moving a little straighter and a wide mid-on. Jones goes over the top and hits it straight to Alan Lamb. Acrobatic but not successful. I don't know that he was concentrating fully on all that. We saw him signing autographs a moment or two ago. And well, for style, I think you give him full marks.
Yes, if that was off the top board, it'd be all right. Just the arrival of the cricket ball is then the inconvenience.
Pat Pocock's first over. I was talking about that game in 72 against Sussex. 4 wickets in 4 balls, 5 in 6, 6 in 9, 7 in 11. And the last 2 still records, I believe, in county cricket.
Yes, I would think those would be records in probably first-class cricket, yes, 7 and 11. Ambrose did something very dramatic against South Africa a few years ago. He did do something, Bishop did something fairly dramatic in Perth not very long ago, but I don't think it was anything quite like that. We did have a hat-trick in Test cricket not 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, not much more than that, which was the second by a Victorian in the last 3 or 4 months in Test cricket. Amazing.
Mike Selvey goes for 4. Dean Jones looking very at home. In fact, he's only a few miles away from home at Romsey, his residence, out here in the country. And he's got the green and gold on again, and that's what he wants. No running for that one either. Not from the batsman's point of view anyway.
Just getting a little bit tired, Mike Selvey now, and that's not quite the situation to be when you're bowling to Mr. Jones. Certainly punishes the loose delivery.
He's 30 now, Jones. Consecutive boundaries off Selvey. Ball hits that concrete wicket, it really does take off, but Lamb had that one covered. 1 or 2 ironical comments now coming from the crowd down there that one didn't get through him.
It's getting a bit tight, this game. Photographs.
Is it?
The game, I mean.
Porter lifting that one into the gap. Brilliant placement from the Australian skipper. So 3 boundaries off that over from Mike Selvey. Alan Border takes his score to 13. And the comparison after 23 overs. Australia now 9 in front of England. 151 to 142.
Very fine one-day bowler for England. Victor Marks retired from first-class cricket in 1989. Played a fair few times for England. More in one-day cricket than test match cricket. Here he goes.
Vic Marks played a season in Western Australia, 86-87. And his best figures in an innings, 5 for 55 against Victoria in Melbourne. Boundary for Dean Jones. Australia comfortably ahead of the run rate at the moment, and Alex Stewart just saying, yes, this is fun, fellas, but I'll do the fielding. Because it's, well, time that England have to think about starting to stem the flow of runs, and, well, there's probably 1 or 2 Australia got there that Stewart might have been able to prevent. He certainly couldn't go full pelt when all the kids were already out there.
Shots.
That's 6. That's one of the biggest ones today. Might have been a 6 on any ground.
Great shots.
Nice trajectory on that one, he says. Like my 3 woods.
Nothing terribly wrong with the ball. Beautiful free strike from Dean Jones.
Again. And he's going to call it quits. Consecutive 6s off Vic Marks. And Dean Jones has Australia ahead of the required run rate to win this Origin of the Ashes match.
Terrific hitting from Dean Jones. The crowd enjoyed that. Got great ovations in the tents at lunchtime from his loving Victorian supporters. And he gave them a treat there. Some terrific strikes.
51 for Dean Jones, the 3rd Australian to retire with a half-century. He fights his way back into the pavilion now. And Paul Sheehan comes to the crease. Talked about his majesty in the field. Also an extremely elegant batsman. And certainly a very free striker of the ball too. And I was reminiscing with Pete Stackpole earlier about some of the magical partnerships, incredibly fast scoring rate that he and Paul achieved towards the end of their career for Victoria.
Yes, fine player that he is. I don't know that Vic Marks will be all that disappointed to see him coming in just at the moment. He's got to get his eye in. He probably hasn't played so much recently. Whereas Dean Jones was going rather well there. And, Vic was beginning to wonder about his figures, but Paul Sheehan, I'm sure he'll just take his time now, have a little look at things.
And one of the most valuable innings Paul Sheehan ever played was that 44 not out at the Oval to see Australia to victory in 1972. The 20 overs gone and Australia are 198, England 192.
28 overs gone there, Peter.
What did I say?
20 overs gone. I thought we were really in trouble for a moment there. Jeff, what happens when you get as an older player? You had experience of gradually towards the end of your career. What changes in your game? What gets harder, or doesn't anything get harder?
Well, I think that basically your fielding is the hardest thing. You've really got to keep yourself fit, and I think that you get away with experience. Obviously, you're a lot more experienced, but basically you've got to keep your body a lot fitter, and I think that's been one of the reasons why David Boone's had a good year this year in the one-day series. Last year, maybe he wasn't quite as fit as what he should have been, and this year, man of the series, and he's a lot fitter. It's just so important that you remain very sharp, and I think that's just one of the most important things.
How is it that players like yourself and Alan Border managed to retain their concentration and motivation for so long, all the games you played, year after year after year?
Well, I guess wearing the green baggie, I think that that is the most important thing. I think that if you get picked to play for Australia, that's enough motivation in itself. And
each time through all those one-day internationals, that still drives you on all the time.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's just such a great spirit in the Australian side that everyone motivates each other, and if somebody is lacking, then he gets a lot of support from his teammates. Players like Steve Waugh and Mark Taylor, who's doing a terrific job as captain now, they're forever talking to you in the dressing room after a day's play. And just, I went into the rooms after the game yesterday, and it was terrific to see how the Australian side was in with the Australian A side, and basically they were talking and learning about the game of cricket in the dressing room, and that's where I was taught by Rod Marsh and Dennis Lilly how to play cricket, and I think that's very important, and it was just terrific to see that last night.
Your impressions of Mark Taylor as the skipper?
Oh, I think he's doing a tremendous job. He's got his own ideas, and he's very positive with his ideas. And
here goes the former skipper, Alan Border, another 6. And David Bairstow hopping over the fence, but couldn't nab it. Don't know that Border middled that one, but got enough on it.
He did that at Taunton in 1985, it could have been, or 89 it could have been. Had a tremendous season on that tour, Alan Border, at the start of the season. I'm sure he had a good tour as well, but he kept hitting every ball for 6, more or less, for about the entirety of May. Had a great start to the season. I think he got off the mark with a 6.
Now we've got Jeff Marsh in here with us. Jeff, are you the vice-captain today? I know it was a late call-up to this game, but are you 2IC to AB?
I walked out behind him today just for old time's sake. I think there's a lot of experience out there. I see he still sent me to the boundary all day, so I had to sign autographs.
How many's he been signing? Has he been
no,
delegating?
He's actually done a few today. He's been very good today. He's tremendous to see so many kids here.
They still know who you are?
Yeah, quite a few do. So I'm quite surprised. I guess the day that they stop asking you for your autographs today, you've got to start worrying. So it is great. I mean, at times it does get to you a little bit, but it's just very important that you repay. Remember that you were a kid one day and what it was like to be turned down for an autograph, and I always think about that. And the kids get a great thrill out of it, and what we want to see is the kids coming back to the game of cricket.
This is Pat Pocock bowling to Alan Border. And again, he's like that flatter delivery, maybe trying for the leg side stumping.
Well taken by Jack Russell.
Getting back to Mark Taylor, though, I think England have really they're playing against a very good Australian side at the moment, with Shane Warne bowling very well, and I thought the real turning point for Australia was Craig McDermott's return to form. I thought that he's really bowled well this series, and of course Fleming starting to bowl well. Yes. And I think Mark's really got the team playing good cricket, and they really did come up against a good Australian side in that first Test match.
England has thought so much about Shane Warne, perhaps almost too much, and they hadn't really banked on Craig McDermott coming up with 20-odd wickets in the series already.
Alan Border moving towards his retirement. He is now 48. No, there's Arkle to field, just the one. 45, Derek Randall down on the boundary, not patrolling the covers today. 174 in the centenary Test match to be the man of the match.
Still looks as fit as ever, doesn't he?
Paul Sheehan has shown a willingness to use his feet and starting to middle them too.
I think the crowd's having a terrific day. Haven't heard of an estimated crowd figure.
They've had to close the doors, apparently.
Have they? What is it, 10,000, do you think?
I think there may be a little bit more.
They pre-sold, I think they pre-sold 13,000 tickets, plus what they got in today. So I'd say there's roughly 15,000.
A full toss from Vic Marks. Fielded down there by Mike Gadding. Single for Alan Border. Andrew Paul Sheehan at the crease. 48 years of age. And even if he's not getting full bat onto them, he's getting well down the wicket. I think something there. And they're just turning the strike over, these two, without any feverish running between the wickets.
Oh, great shot.
Beautiful shot.
Pretty good ball that. It was a quicker arm ball. And Alan Border just glided it through point for 4. And he's walking off, yeah.
Another half-century retiree. That's 4 in the Australian innings.
Derek Randall still getting bloke as well.
Out for 11, Derek Randall to Keith Stackpole. And that's been it as far as the wicket takers are concerned. And the skipper. Still over 11,000 runs in Test matches for Australia. Another half-century here today.
And who's setting the field? Is it David Gower or is it Alan Lamb?
Well, Alan, of course, is the captain of Northamptonshire, and he's used to pointing and yelling. But a lot of batsmen as captains do exactly that. This is a classic example. They stand there, they point their fingers and they yell a lot, but normally they're standing at first slip rather than with the ball in their hand.
Here he goes. And Rickson is bowled! Bowled! And he's not happy about it either. I don't know what the umpire's got to say about it. Is this dismissal in dispute? No. He's been told.
Yes, the Chardonnay is that way.
Well, the wicket has fallen. Similar pattern to the English innings where Derek Randall was the only one to fall. Steve Rickson, bowled by Alan Lamb.
And unlike David Boone's wicket last night, that actually deviated.
Just a little.
Well, David Gower, you've got the breakthrough.
Well, yeah, what over is it? It took a long time coming, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Why is it that these games always seem to come down to the final over?
well, I think that there's been some good betting on both sides, and it's a good way to finish the game.
Dot ball. That's very handy.
I think it's very important now that the umpire does watch the wides. I think they can come into play in this last couple of overs.
Australia 291 runs now. Just the one wicket falling, that was Steve Rickson. He made 10 runs. All the rest have retired. Stackpole 16, Sheehan 44. Paul Sheehan is the mainstay at the moment. A slower ball, and he's picked it up nicely. Peter Roebuck, who do you want to tip?
Oh, I always tip England.
Have you been doing it for the last few summers? Is that why we're winning?
I've got a mate who watches the horses and looks over his form, and I say, who are you backing in this race? And he always says number 4. Whichever race it is, he says number 4. I don't know why he's looking at the form like that for. But, he always says number 4.
He just wants to see who it's going to beat. Dermot Reeve. Can he knock Stacky over?
Good shot.
Beautiful shot. He's starting to hit them well now. They take one more. 293, chasing 314. Still 21 runs needed. Only a couple of balls left in this over. In fact, one ball left in this over. 14 off 7 balls. Sheehan again tries to penetrate that onside. It's going to be close, but Lewis has got it covered. And they come back for 2. And that is the end of the over. So Australia have 295 runs on the board. And just checking my maths here, is that correct? 295. I must have made an error. 1 over to go, and they still need 19 runs.
Unfortunately, Alan Lamb's bowling rather than batting. He wasn't bad at batting in these situations. A famous occasion in Sydney where I think it was Bruce Reid. He hit around the place, but he's got the ball in his hand. He's just as dangerous with the ball in his hand, but for the opposite reason.
Well, is this good captaincy to let Lamb bowl the last over?
Oh, he's obviously got in the vital breakthrough early in the day, so... certainly taking a long time to set his field again, Lammy.
Yes, he's shows no sign of bowling it to it, however. He just spreads them round. He's taking a great deal of care over it. I think he'll probably still bowl the same stuff he bowled before, though, once it's all settled down.
Stackpole hits long and high. How high? How long? And it's gone for 4, has it? In between the two of them?
Just the one.
Just the one. I thought that he had juggled, Chris Lewis had juggled it over.
Got 2 of our best men there, Stewart and Lewis. What as stupid as we look, the problems, you know.
So just the one. So the target getting difficult now. 18 runs off 5 balls. Is it impossible? Not today.
Shot.
6. It's gone. No.
It's a 6.
What's the verdict?
That's 6. Well, 6 is given.
6 is awarded. He took the catch, he stepped out, he tried to throw the ball back into the field of play. The replay. The umpire has signalled 6.
He wants the replay.
Well, Jeff, you're
6 it is.
You're calling it 6. Peter Roebuck, what are you calling it?
They're not happy.
High controversy. It's a wonderful take, actually.
Chris Lewis waiting, flies high.
6 runs. It was a good shot.
And it was a great attempted catch, or a great catch.
I don't think England are going to walk off in protest.
Australia have passed the 300. They're 302. They need 314. 12 runs to get off 4 balls.
These Aussie umpires again, I'll tell you what. It's not Daryl Hare there, is it?
Sheehan playing a great innings. Now, Sheehan is approaching his half century. Will he still be there? He's 54 now. Is he? 54. So, the way they've been playing it today, he really should retire. Stackpole chips it safely down towards long off to Stewart. Do you want to fly the red flag, Peter? Should Paul Sheehan get off?
I think it's a bit late. I'm not sure Slug Jordan's rushing out there, is he? Or Tony Dottermaid? Sean Graf?
Well, there it is, 54.
Yeah. Oh, well.
If you're a hard-nosed Englishman, I think I'd be running out there right now and interrupting.
These headmasters, you can't tell them what to do, you know.
I'm sure if Alan Lamb was aware of it, he'd make a song and dance. Is David Gower on mic at the moment?
That's
Sheehan makes a full toss of it. It's gone. Yes. That's 6 more. Paul Sheehan jumps on the back of Alan Lamb. And Sheehan has moved to 60.
That's good stuff. No, he must have unless anyone wants to come on to the final ball. But I mean, it's... No, I mean,
that would be the superb climax. New batsman for the final ball.
It would be a classic, wouldn't it?
Well, there it is. David Gower.
Yeah.
Well, Paul Sheehan asked David Gower, would he like him to leave? And
well, this is actually getting pretty tense, isn't it? But we've had to retire Paul Sheehan.
Yes.
And Tony Dottermaid is the man who needs, what is it, 3 or 4? 3.
David,
no, 4 to win. 4 to win.
David, I think the tactics have been masterly. And the bowling changes. It's only because of them the game's so tight.
Triumphant return to a semblance of Ashes cricket for Paul Sheehan, who retires with 60 runs on the board, but it all comes down to the last ball. Australia are 310, they need 4 runs for victory. Tony Dottermaid.
Yeah.
Tony, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Well, it's all up to you. How are you feeling?
Stacky says we'll run him. I'm a bit worried.
If Stacky runs 3, you deserve to win.
Is there 1 left, is there?
1 ball left. Maybe you should get a run off the Stacky. And we have another pitch invasion.
Those policemen go all right, don't they?
David, I think it's a good idea if we can just get Lemmy to bowl the ball. Hang on, sorry, there's too many voices. There's so much noise out here, guys. I'm sorry, but can't really hear what's going on.
Skipper, you tell me where to bowl it.
That end. If you can get it down that end legally.
Why didn't you go and field? I'll do my own bowl.
2? 1, 1, 1. Jesus, come on.
Throw the umpires out of the ball.
5 plus 1 is 6. We are playing 6.
Well, we'll be going into the record books soon for
okay, let's do it. Let's finish it.
Longest over in history. Australia need 4 runs from the last ball. Tony Dottermaid is facing. Now he's got it away. But the fieldsmen are there. They're not going to run for it. They're coming back for the second. Throw on its way. And victory to England by 1 run. England making 313, Australia 312. And what a thoroughly enjoyable game of cricket, Peter Roebuck.
Oh, a terrific game. 625 runs scored, 2 wickets falling during the day, and nearly every batsman seen. A marvellous effort by everyone, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the crowd owe to thank the players for their efforts today. They've been very sporting, and they put on a great display. The batsmen really on top of things, but just a nice balance between having a festival occasion and having a good cricketing occasion. Terrific stuff.
So, as had been the case 113 years earlier, England had triumphed at Sunbury. All that was left to complete this trip in a cricketing time machine was for the 1995 England captain to be presented with the Ashes, just as his predecessor had in 1882. The reenactment of the burning of the Bale was a little more public than the original had been last century, but by now the story of how the Ashes had come into being was known right around the cricket world.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.